Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. In today's episode, we're going to be studying a piece by the career 3D artist known as Beeple. In today's episode, we are going to be exploring the influences from science fiction, the symbolism of crystals, and we're also going to look at the sheer sense of scale here. So let's just jump right into it. So whenever you first see this work, of course, we're met with this massive sphere set in center space here, right? The title of this work as The Sphere certainly points to the magnificence and the importance of what we may be witnessing here. Of course, it is a rather strange sight. The setting appears to be a otherworldly planet here, and of course it commands a majority of the spatial composition. Of course, on that topic, you're going to be drawn straight into the work, and we see this further reinforced by multiple variants of accent. For example, on the left side you have that darker form, certainly a dark on light accent, but a lot closer here, technically still a dark on light accent, but of course it is a little bit different there regardless. Look at the colors within this composition, right? We see a purple, blue, and black as the main tones, but we also have, of course, black and white, even some hints of, say, purple, hints of green, even a little bit red, orange, and yellow as well. All are very important when we're looking at this work, but the two bases, right, blue and purple, that's what we call an analogous color scheme. Those are going to be quite balanced. They're going to feel orderly and harmonious as well. You may also notice a sense of texture within the work at hand, right? We see that most evidently on the surface of our sphere here. Of course, that kind of sense of motion and flow to the work at hand. I think that's also pretty important. But we also have, say, the much more rougher rocks near the lower space of the work at hand, and also the fluid dynamics of the water as well. All of that immerses us so well within the work at hand. I think that's so important here. Also, of course, I gotta ask you guys, what do y'all see when you view this work, or what comes to mind? Are you looking at texture, color? Are you looking at the title of this work and wondering what is happening? Wondering what exactly y'all are thinking of. But regardless, look at our subject, right? It is a massive sphere set in center space here. Of course, it feels like a mystery in a few different ways as well. It's hard to say why this is here, what exactly it is, but to start, just look at form, right? Obviously, the sphere is something as a derivative of a circle, and it is kind of endlessly defined, right? There are no specific end or beginning to a circle or a sphere, so that also gives some symbolism as well. Of course, the form of this work, there is this material. It appears to be glass or crystal of some kind or another. It's hard to say for sure. Certainly reminds me of molten glass, the way that kind of hardens. And we even have some additional spheres kind of emerging, or say merging into. Whether it's emerging from or emerging into, it's hard to say for sure, but that is kind of moving across the boundary of the sphere. I think that's also pretty important. Of course, the material is also going to influence the final visual experience that you're feeling. But the title of this work, like I said, is The Sphere. So it doesn't really give us too much info. This is obviously a sphere, but the sphere, the way that it is defined and kind of pointed at, and the way it takes up so much of the composition at hand, right? That sheer sense of scale, all of that points to say the importance of what we might be witnessing, even if we don't know exactly what it is. And we also see various orbs, right? So spheres obviously make up a lot of the main subjects that we're witnessing here. We already talked about the one near the upper region. Obviously, we have those two orbs as well, and even some smaller 3 dark orbs on the lower left region of the composition. Like I said, it's hard to say exactly why they are here, but there are multiple of them, lots of spheres going on within the work at hand. For me personally, this looks like an alien planet, or even an alien being in a way, whether it's a ship or an actual alien. It's hard to say for sure, but you look at the terrain, that's not something that we're really used to here at home. That sky as well is just absolutely brilliant, kind of that lilac blue. I really love those tones here. This certainly reminds me of a fantasy science fiction, if you will. That's certainly what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at this composition. But regardless, any act of novelty that is anything new in life is going to be an immense opportunity to really discover and uncover things that you've never seen before, to expand your territory of knowledge, to expand, what you knew or thought was possible as well. I think that's all important when we're looking at this piece. But at the end of the day, this does feel like a grand discovery of sorts. Of course, the title as The Sphere points to that as well. But I gotta ask you guys, what do y'all see when you view the work at hand, or how do you feel when you're looking at this piece? Obviously, the original artist Beeple at this point is a legend in the digital art community. He is a 3D artist, which means he works in the digital rendering medium of expression. So really creating these 3D sculptures, creating these environments, also the same program that's used for, say, movies, special effects. So that's also important to consider as well. I have 2 additional works from the original artist here. I'm going to bring these in real quick and see what we can learn here. All right, so I said I'd bring in two pieces, but I think this one alone really is good to bring in by itself. Of course, both these works are digital renders by the original artist Beeple. Like I said, truly a legend in the digital art community at this point, has been creating works every single day for multiple years, even a full decade at this point. Certainly is most famous for his Everyday series, where he creates a new render every single day. For example, in both these instances, of course, incredibly realistic. The digital rendering program used here is going to be Cinema 4D, obviously very professional program. I know Beeple, Gabriel Salonga, Stuzor, Ryan Hawthorne, a lot of professional digital renders or say 3D artists certainly use the program known as Cinema 4D. But just looking at two of these works, right, you do have a sphere in both these instances. In both these instances, there is a lot of color as well. Obviously, the energy on the right side is going to be a lot more intense, but there is a little bit of energy in this original composition that we looked at today. Obviously, most of the energy coming from texture and a sense of motion or fluidity that comes from that as well. So, of course, both these works do an amazing job of capturing the surrealism of Beeple's portfolio. He does an amazing job of conveying that in every single instance. I just studied this work, absolutely love it. Perhaps one of my favorite works of all time, just like this piece. Absolutely love these two works. I just want to bring in these real quick to point to the medium known as the digital render that Beeple uses. Of course, highly realistic and does an amazing job of immersing us within both these works at hand. I absolutely love to see it here. So that's really all I have for today. I really hope you'll enjoy. We talked about so many different things, from the obvious form within the work, the material as this crystal or glass. We talked about the impact of scale. We talked about the novelty or the sense of discovery that we might be witnessing here. We also touched a little bit about science fiction and kind of an alien world, if you will. We talked about the impact of texture, color, placement, so many different things we hit on today. I really hope you'll enjoy it. Like I said, the original artist Beeple truly is a legend at this point. If you want to get involved in the world of 3D art or digital renders, of course, Cinema 4D is a very professional program. It's not open source like something like Blender, but it is a very professional program and truly an industry standard. So that's always important to remember. There are a lot of professionals who use Cinema 4D. But yeah, like I said, really hope you'll enjoy it. If you enjoyed today, go check out the original artist Beeple. Obviously a legend, really career artist, very talented, and is always willing to give away those tips for free. So really pay close attention to this artist. I promise you'll learn a lot. But once again, really hope you'll enjoy it. If y'all did, go check out the original artist Beeple. My name's Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.